Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah Brown, co host of The Mothers, where we talk to industry leaders and changemakers who are also somehow raising the next generation. Please take a second to subscribe and drop a 5-star review wherever you're listening, and follow us on Instagram at The Mothers Pod. I'm particularly pumped for today's conversation because it really gets at the concept of taking control over your own life, deciding for yourself on the destination, and getting there your own way, and the importance of partnership. Sounds so easy, but I find most of us follow the crowd, or certainly find validation and comfort in taking the path most followed. And we take pride in doing it alone. When we first met, Lindsay Gittens was the most graceful outside midfielder on the soccer field I'd ever seen. In my recollection, she was a beautiful gazelle. Everyone else out there was working very hard to get their ass up and down the field. Somehow, Lindsay just glided and arrived just in time. Her effort seemed easier than everyone else's. And that has not changed from what I can tell. Lindsay is now Dr. Lindsay, an anesthesiologist at Tufts Medical Center and the Director of Anesthesia for Orthopedic Surgery. Yeah, she went to medical school, no big deal. Specialized in anesthesiology, also no big deal. Managed to have 2 adorable kids at the optimal time after residency, though also, oops, right in the pandemic. And then here's where things got in some ways harder and yet continue to look kind of easy. Never married because why be conventional, Lindsay separated from the father of her kids. But the separation seems to have made space for things that provided way more nourishment. Her own mother and time. Lindsay's mother lives with her, and she was able to step in and support Lindsay and the kids through this transition in a way that just makes my heart swell a bit. As Lindsay says, it wasn't even a conversation. It was just a given that she would move in, and they would take care of each other. Lindsay's mother does what isn't asked, but is needed. And that's when it occurred to me. If anyone would be able to see and help carry the load of invisible labor, wouldn't it be another mother? And on the time front, the time her kids spend with their father is time that Lindsay has to recover and also think, maybe even dream. In that time, Lindsay found that what she really wanted in life was more freedom and less time at work. So instead of accumulating her income, she decided to take a calculated risk and put it to work for her, opening and drawing on a home equity line of credit to invest in other vehicles, which has allowed her to cut back significantly at work and also build her dream home. As she says, it paid off even more than she could have imagined. Lindsay is a self-made, self-valued, risk-taking woman and a mother. She knows what having it all means to her. And as you'll hear in our conversation, interestingly, it seems to very much relate to her ability to do it all for herself, for her mother, and for her kids. So please enjoy the wisdom, financial and otherwise, of the unbothered badass that is Dr. Lindsay Gittens. Share your story as much as you're willing. I would love to hear it all.
Honored, honestly.
Yeah. And I feel like one of the many gifts of trying to do this is it's been such a beautiful full circle moment and a chance to like connect with people that I really admire and be able to ask them like real questions.
Questions you wanted
Which like
to
we
ask
don't
that you couldn't.
actually in life. It's
Right.
so hard to get there. Although Lindsay, I feel like we got there like a little bit, almost kind of at our like Bolts reunion.
Yeah, right. I know, which we need to do again,
We do.
obviously.
So with all of that background, do you have any questions? Do you feel good?
Yeah, no, I feel good. No questions.
Okay, let's go for it. So Lindsay, we like to start with this question that is one of my favorite interview questions, like in a work setting. But how would you tell the story of how you get to like the Lindsay of today, who's built your life
goodness.
your own way with kids, an awesome
Yep.
job, like you're juggling so many things, but like how do we get here?
Geez. Well, I will say that right now I'm in a space where I am very content. Like I'm very happy with how things are going in my life. I feel very just at ease. I feel in a good place. I feel like my kids are in a good place. And, I think the ability to kind of get to this place has to do with like my parents, right? And like how I was raised and how, kind of like mental resiliency, things like that were kind of like instilled in me growing up. And like Sarah, like you obviously know my parents. And, my dad's passed away. It'll be 10 years this year.
Hmm.
But he was such a huge presence, both my parents, huge presence in my life, very loving, very, I had a wonderful, wonderful childhood. And I really do feel like that is just like your foundation for life,
Yeah.
like how you're going to approach situations, how you're going to approach challenges, how you're going to just succeed in life. So yeah. So, I had that good foundation. Obviously, I went to college. I was pre-med in college. I knew that I wanted to be a doctor from very young for whatever reason. My mom says I want to be like my pediatrician, Dr. Rickers, his name. And
I think we had the same
remember that.
pediatrician.
We had the same
That's
pediatrician?
so
I think
funny.
so. Dr. Rickers.
Oh my God.
Yes, now that you mention it. Did he always use your thumbs? You'd like fly off the table with your thumbs?
I don't know. I don't remember that, but
I'm going to pretend.
I remember
it
he
was
was
Sarah's like-
very old when I was very young.
Yes.
So like,
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, anyways. Memories.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about his name until now. Amazing.
That's
Okay, continue.
really funny.
Yes, apparently I wanted to be like him. And so, I was pre-med in medical school, and with soccer, obviously, which is our connection. Like I started playing soccer when I was like 9 or something, and started with club on the Bolts U13 with you. Were you U13, Sarah, as well? Or were you before
It all
that?
blurs. I think
Okay,
I started.
I know,
I joined a year after I was playing up an age group because
Okay,
Oh, right.
cool.
mostly also because I think it was a January
You're
birthday,
so
but
amazing.
it felt special. And then I joined you guys.
Okay,
Thankfully,
gotcha.
you saved me.
Right. So, I mentioned the soccer just because it obviously was a huge part of my life, a huge part of our life, and just still a huge part of just like forming, who I am. And so, so I was always playing soccer in the background, right? But doing well in school as well. When I did get to college, though, I did stop playing soccer competitively. Just wanted to play. I just wanted to be like a normal college girl when I went to college. And I had a great college experience. Went to George Washington. I was in DC. I was pre-med. I graduated. I took 2 years off between med school and between college and med school. And I worked a couple of jobs, and I did my med school 2008 to 2012, decided I was going to be an anesthesiologist, did my, my residency, all of that. At Tufts down in Boston, downtown Boston.
Is it
And,
true? Anesthesiology, I thought, was like the most difficult, complicated one. Like you had to be like the really smart people like got into anesthesiology.
No, well, I don't know
Don't be
about
modest.
that. I just,
Don't be modest.
I don't. I mean, I think you have to be competitive. Yes. Like, I don't think you can be bottom of the class doing anesthesia, but you didn't have to be at the top of the class. I certainly wasn't.
2012. I'm like, that's so long. Oh my gosh. You're incredible for doing that.
Right. Yeah. And that was med school. Right. And then I had to do 4 years of residency, which, I mean, you're a physician by then, but you're, a baby bird. Like you don't know anything. So I did my 4 years of residency. I worked at Faulkner Hospital for 5 years as an attending. That was my first, job out of residency. It was amazing. That's in Jamaica Plain. They're affiliated with the Brigham. And then I actually went back to Tufts as an attending in August of 2021. I had my kids while I worked at Faulkner. So I had my son, Theo, who will be 7 in August. So I had him August 2018. And I had my daughter, Avery, who will be 5 in August. So I had her August 2020. So
An easy time to have children.
Huh?
An easy time to have children.
Right. I know.
Mid-pandemic.
Well, there's no good time. Yeah. I mean, I at least was
Why
out of
not a
training. I was an
pandemic?
attending. I was right. Oh yes, that was the thing. That was the thing when I was pregnant with Avery, pandemic. And I actually lucked out with that because I was pregnant, my job and, people at my job were like, we don't want you being around COVID patients, like all of that. I was like, great. Like, I'm just going to like sit here and, still went to work every single day, but like, there wasn't anything going on. But that was a very crazy, insane time, as we all know. But being in the healthcare field at the same time and pregnant, I was kind of a little concerned, but it was
a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, so like I had my kids when I was working full time, like I was taking call. I was, it's I think, like working full time and having kids and pumping and, just integrating work with like having newborns is just like intense. So, and so then I separated with the father of my kids in 2020, end of 2020. I started work, like I said, at Tufts, at my new job where I am now, in August of 2021. And my job at Tufts is amazing, very like lifestyle friendly. They're very like, it's important to have like a work-life balance with them, which is really important to me.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I ended up doing some research into investing and finding ways of passive income in 2022.
Like with all your free time, how do
Oh, I
you have
know.
time to
Well,
take another thing on?
right. Well, once I was separated, I actually had more time, right? Because it's like I had the time that I don't have my kids. And,
Sure.
and some people are upset by that and they miss their kids. And some people like me are like, oh my God, I get a break. Like I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yay,
Yeah.
I can just like lay on the couch all weekend if I want. Like it was actually like
Yeah.
really nice. And it's been
Yeah.
really nice. I can't complain. I get my breaks and and then but I have them most of the time. So, and I have them by
This came up,
myself. So it's a
if
lot.
this makes you, you don't need anyone to make you feel better, but this came
Yeah.
up. We interviewed actually my stepmother, who she mentioned a similar thing, and that it was actually, she had 2 kids with her ex-husband. She was like, it was almost key to my career
Yeah.
to be able
Yeah.
to sort of have this space. Clearly they're cared
Yep.
for elsewhere, but also have this other time, both for career and even like just personal life.
Sure.
She could
Absolutely.
invest more in her friendships, etc. So
Yeah. Then when you're with your kids, you could be like more present and rejuvenated
Present.
to actually show
Yeah.
up for them. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I would never like advocate for separating, but like I don't think people should be so afraid to do
Yeah.
it or think that like
Yeah.
they like have to stay together for their kids or things like that. It's like no, you actually end up
Mhm.
being better, when you're not in like under duress in like
Yeah.
a situation or
Yeah.
whatever. But
Yeah.
but yeah, so I started this investing, which also that has like skyrocketed in ways that I couldn't imagine and has like opened up my life in ways that I like and it has completely contributed to like why I'm in such a good place now.
Yeah.
So I started with that. I was able to cut back work by doing that. So I was able to cut back to like 4 days a week. And even just having one day off a week is just amazing. Like you're just like, all right, I can like look forward to that day and get all my things
Yeah.
done. And it's like during the week, so I can like go to appointments. I can,
Uh-huh.
so that has been like a great thing. And it's been over a year. It's been a year and a half since I cut back. And I just
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
so happy with that.
That's so amazing.
And I've been able to I'm currently building a house. And so I'm building like my dream home. And I'm doing it all by myself. And I
Yeah.
feel very like lucky and just happy that I can do this and like provide my kids with this like amazing like house we're about to have. And same with my mom. Of course, I'm bringing my mom. So I made
Yeah.
like a unit for her. And she lives with me now. I own a 2-family and she lives downstairs, and that's been key. We certainly can talk about like support systems and things like that. Like that's
Yeah.
been obviously key to my well-being, having my mom live
Yeah.
right downstairs to help me with just anything.
Totally.
And yeah, and so now I'm in a place where like the kids are good. I'm building this house. Work is amazing. I've been able to I'm the director of anesthesia for orthopedic surgery at Tufts. So I've
Beautiful.
gotten,
Damn.
I've elevated myself and I'm
Yeah.
doing well, and I have time, which is the most important thing. I have time to take the kids to school and pick them up, and
Yeah.
I'm with them, the times that they're supposed to be with me, I'm with them like, 99% of the time. There's a couple
Yeah.
mornings my mom has to help me get the kids to school or something because I have to be at work. But yeah, no, I'm in like a really good place. That's kind
Yeah.
of how I got here.
You
It's
seem like
beautiful.
Superwoman.
I love how you were describing your story, because in general, it is this incredible model of, as someone, I am such a pleasing oriented person. I need validation. I
Same.
need people to like reinforce that I'm okay. Well, so you say same, but and you mentioned you alluded to like maybe this was role modeled by your parents, but
Yeah.
I was remembering back to you on the field, and you were, the world should know, you were like this beautiful gazelle. Like everyone was working really hard, and it looked like they were working really hard. You were working really hard and it like seemed easy.
Looked easy.
And then it also seemed like, you never, like there was contentious times, like with all of us, there were some coaches that were not as great as other coaches. But I always felt like you were like, fuck you. Like it didn't affect your sense of self in the same way.
Yeah.
You didn't walk away being like, I
That's
am lesser. I am not, you knew
No.
that you were great. And I feel like I didn't have that center filled up in the same way unless
Okay.
someone was saying that I was great. So I was
I
curious
see
if
what
you
you're
could
saying.
explain to me how you did that, and so I can try to do
If I could do that now.
But like, where did that come from? Because it's still there for you now. I see it, and it hurt in your story.
I see. Okay, I see what you're saying. I do feel like I'm a people pleaser for sure, but I'm not someone that needs validation. Why I'm that way, I don't know. It's nothing that I've like actively worked on or anything like that. I think it's, like I said, I think it's just been my parents, just instilling just like a very like healthy sense of self.
Yeah.
But still like humility at the same time, and just like very kind of like even keeled, and knowing that certain people's reaction towards you or views on you don't necessarily reflect you, right? It can be a lot of times a reflection of them and whatever they're going through and things like that. And just trying to be able to separate that. I feel like as I've gotten older, I feel like when I was younger, it's like you don't really think in that sense, but as you get older,
Right.
you just feel like life gets a little bit more complicated, or a lot more complicated, and you have very strange interactions with people along the way. Kind of keeping that in the back of your mind of, everyone has their kind of background that they're coming from, and not everyone has worked through whatever issues are going on, and any kind of, maybe like negative thing I get from someone typically is more reflection of them than me, and in general, I have always been very like kind of unbothered type of person. And, not with everything, but it's just that has been like a characteristic of myself.
Unbothered is such a beautiful term.
Yeah, I do feel
love that.
unbothered by a lot of things, but, but like I said, like why, I think it's a mix of probably my biologics, my temperament, my parents, I think it's kind of all those things, because my parents were the same way for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that, when you were looking ahead, because in some ways taking like a medical path is, I don't know, it's a hard path, but it is a sort of stable, responsible choice, and you're saving lives and it's meaningful. It's interesting now that you're also adding on this layer of kind of personal investing strategy that's basically like you're coming up with this other, that feels almost a little more like you, where you're like, how do I like the structure and establishment that is medicine and medical school. I don't know. I think of you as you're a free thinker and doing it differently, and you're kind of rebelling against the expectation.
I totally get what you're saying. And I did actually a podcast like about that specifically, because just this thought that like physicians, or maybe kind of like, like lawyers, whatever, that kind of bracket of professions can be very just like traditional in their thinking, and very, this is the way things go. This is the way it is. Very risk averse is kind of just something that's come up a lot. And I have always been like very, again, because of my parents, just very, open-minded, and very like, I know that there's multiple ways to do things. There's multiple ways to accomplish things in life. There's no one straight path for everybody. And when I kind of fell upon this opportunity to do the investing, it was like very like kind of like serendipitous how it all happened, but it was just an opportunity that arose, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it a try, because I mean, I don't really have much to lose. I am in a good spot. I make decent money. I feel like in general, I trust myself as far as making good decisions about kind of these bigger things. And, I just kind of jumped into it. I am certainly also someone that jumps into things without fully knowing what the outcome is going to be. But I've done that a few times, and it has always paid off huge for me. Like paid off huge in ways like I never even knew would happen.
How did having kids feel like a major jumping in or jumping out? Or how did that contribute to this like kind of unbothered,
I feel like
happy to take a risk
mindset?
mindset?
I mean, I feel like I feel like kids is a little different, right? Because it's like, I had always wanted kids. I was never like a huge like, oh, like I definitely want to be a mother. Like I want that to be a part of my identity. I was never like that. But I always just like knew I did want to have kids and like have a family and all of that. And I having kids is that it changes that a little. I'm a little more, or sorry, less unbothered. Is that the way to say it?
Yeah.
I'm more bothered when
Okay.
having kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's it's your kids. Like there's no chill about anything when it comes to your kids, right?
Yeah.
And it certainly changed me as far as it just made me a little bit more, like vigilant, just a little bit more like, all right, I kind of have to think through things a little bit more. I have to, I don't know. You just have to be prepared.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
but I would say that it didn't change too much. Like, I don't feel like I shifted like my identity in any way to like just being a mom kids. It's like,
Yeah.
I still was very much myself. And I have like one of my girlfriends actually did tell me that. She's like, I have friends who like, they had kids and then they just like change. And then they were just like moms and that was it. She was like, you were like one of those people that did not happen. She was like, you were still the same. I'm like, yeah. Didn't completely take over my identity. And if it does, that's also fine. It's just whatever works for you and your family.
Yeah. Was there a conscious decision to have kids? And if so, like why, when you did, and why, like why make the choice
Why
to
did
do
I
that?
choose when I did?
Yeah.
So it was a conscious decision. Both pregnancies were very much planned.
Yeah.
And it was kind of and this was before I did the investing and all of that. So I was still kind of in a different kind of mindset about money and the future and things like that. But I still felt like I was in a good place and I wasn't going to be in any better place. And I was in like a decent space with my partner. We were never married, but that wasn't a problem for me. I mean, Sarah, as you know, my parents were never married. And so I always just had this thing of like, I don't need to be traditional, and he was on board and whatever. And we did it. So it worked in the timing that it should have and that I wanted. I think waiting till I was out of training was a big thing. Like it would be very difficult to have children while still being in training as a resident. So I waited.
I was actually, we spoke with a doctor, an OBGYN chief at BMC, and I asked her this question too, because I always think medicine, law, these are professions that are, I think,
don't have space for kids.
The default, they're sort of modeled for like what would work for a dude classically. And I'm sure they're like chipping away and slightly evolving in sides. And you mentioned that anesthesiology as a vertical industry specialty is maybe I don't know, it's a little more civilized. I don't know if that's the right word, but
yes, for sure.
How did that play into, as someone who you said, you're like, I always knew I wanted to have kids, not necessarily like a fantasy. I knew my kids' names before they lived, but how did becoming a doctor, did you have any concerns about like, how could I do both of these things or how it might interfere or no? Yeah.
No, it like really never crossed my mind.
Sarah's like,
was
cool.
kind of like,
yeah.
It didn't. I was just like, I'm going to have my kids. I'm still going to continue to work. I'm going to figure out the childcare and like, that's it. I mean, I'm doing what a lot of people do. Cause like an option of like staying home or anything like that was never an option for me. And, and I personally didn't necessarily want that, but in addition, it just like wasn't an option. Like, it still isn't, but I still enjoy it. So. But no, it didn't cross my mind as far as my profession. And, now that they're a little bit older, but still young and want to be around me and things like that, I am working very hard to try to be free as much as I can kind of during this phase. Cause I feel like it's, both men and women at our age, we're still very heavy into our career at this point and trying to, save for the future and save for college and save for retirement and all of that. And so you're just like working so hard and your kids are at school or wherever, and you're just kind of like missing these years. And, I don't want to miss them because like, this is when my kids still like want to cuddle with me and be up under me. And, they think I'm like the best thing in the world, no matter what I do. And I still want to be around for that. So the fact that I've been able to like cut back work and things like that. And I'm still working on that, becoming more available. I'm just kind of waiting for this house to be done. That's been my like goal. Like I have a very specific thing in mind that I'm working towards as far as being able to be more free for them. And luckily I am in a field that allows for that kind of like flexibility, as I want it. So I think definitely having a goal in mind about what you want to do is like key.
Yeah. One of the things to that point that's come up a lot with a lot of these amazing mothers that we're talking to is there's a conscious choice to define. It actually goes back to the very initial conversation around validation, like seeking external approval, essentially, that it's key to define within your own, with yourself and whatever version of your family unit is, like what you want, like what success is for you, what your goals are, not just achieve the next thing because I need to have the next thing, but like, what is it, what matters to you in this life, which is so cliche, but I think it really is true. And it takes kind of the power back. And I think you've done a nice job. When I saw you last, I was like, wow, this seems like she's like hacked the system. But because within that, deciding what you really want is an idea of like, what really is enough for me, and where do I not need more, or what are the kinds of things that are outside of money stuff often, like what is more to me, what are the most valuable things. And I was reading a little bit about your podcast interview about sort of financial freedom, and you were talking about how, I was curious how if it's continues to now, but scaling back at work, which potentially is a pay cut at work, but kind of filling in the gaps a little bit with the investment strategy and hoping that might pay off. I was curious, like, can you talk more about that and sort of what are we optimizing for? And how are you using the different tools, the levers in your life to like reach that nice state of, you seem so zen when we started talking.
So I will say, as far as the financial aspect in the investing, so the current house that I live in now, I did a complete gut renovation on it. And so I did a gut renovation on it. I refinanced, I did all of this. And then what I ended up doing was getting just like a home equity line of credit. And I just got it because I was like, I never know like when I'll use it or what. Cause I was kind of like, well, maybe I want to start renting. Maybe I want to start doing real estate on the side. Maybe I want to start doing like something more than just being a doctor. And
I know, just a doctor.
Are you? And so that kind of opened up. So then I find out about this kind of investment community and ways to basically like leverage these, like this line of credit that I just opened, that I just had sitting there doing nothing, and turning that into money for investments, turning that into money to pay off debt, turning it into, just coming up with a very specific strategy for it. And so, when I cut back work, I took a huge pay cut. I took like $100,000 pay cut. And I wasn't necessarily even filling in that pay cut with investment money. It was just more, I completely transformed my finances and how my finances work. And that took a huge leap mentally to do that and trust that it would be the best thing to do for me. So, being able to take that leap really did change everything for me. It's like, I can't even go back. I can't even think about going back to like what I was doing before. But, so all of it just plays together, and all of it does, as much as I'm like, I don't, I have other identities other than my mom, other than being a mom. Everything I am doing now is for the kids. It's for setting up, like I wouldn't be building a house now for me, I'm doing it for the kids. All of this like financial strategy and stuff I'm doing, like, if I was by myself, I probably still would be doing it if I somehow fell upon it, just to be able to have the freedom to do whatever, go on trips, or have just like a more kind of like free life. But everything, at least right now that I'm doing, it's for the kids and for creating time to be able to be with my kids more at this kind of like early stage in their life.
Yeah. I think it's such a great role model, because I find I personally, I will say, and I think I know I speak for a lot of other women, but that money there's anxiety and fear associated with it.
Terrifying.
And this idea that the somehow the default is get as much you can and hoard it, and like don't lose it, and you'll never, and you probably don't have enough. And not it's not really a strategic thought. It's like, it's out of fear, and maybe I'll never have more, maybe it'll go away. And I think I've learned this through my husband, who professionally is more like, is very good with money, I would say. But the idea, like, money is there to like do work for you.
Right.
And
Yes.
which was
Yes.
not anything I learned growing up. It was much more
Yeah.
like as everything I
Same.
was saying before. Where did you get it's a similar element of sort of fearlessness. You talked about the leap, but like how
Yeah.
did you hold your own hand through that leap and why?
Just like I did it. So yeah, it was interesting because I didn't know anyone that was doing things this way.
Right.
And I came across this, they're just like a company that kind of like teaches this strategy. And I listened to them. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it just because that's kind of just how I am. I'm like, I'm going to do it. It sounds like a good idea. If it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. My life is good now. I'm in a good place. Like I know that I can kind of always come back to this if I need to, if this doesn't work out. And so that was kind of what it was. And then I just did a lot of my own kind of like due diligence and a lot of my own literally like writing out pages of like calculations of how all this works and how does this play into my life and what I plan on doing. So I feel like when I took over as far as like really trying to understand how it all worked, and then once I got it and it clicked, then I was like, all right, like now I'm like off to the races. I get it. So it was just really just taking the chance.
I also wanted to ask because I feel like it has to be related, but maybe you correct me. But you mentioned like your connection, your relationship, obviously with your parents, very close and seeming like a very like encouraging independence, but also there was a nice soft. It wasn't like
No,
mean
no.
cold. It was very warm independence.
Right. Yes. Yes.
But and now, and I agree with you in the foundation of like sort of fearlessness, as long as it feels like you can also be held while you're doing brave things.
Yeah.
Your mom is now like living with you and like this sort of village. We talk a lot about this of like to kind of be juggling and doing all sorts of things, the importance of having a support network or a village or whatever we want to call it. How has that, I love that your mom is there. But what's her
amazing.
role been in all of this and helping you continue to be you and from an identity perspective, but also like have the fullness of your family and your full life?
I know. I'll probably start crying, but no, I mean, she obviously has just like, she is just there, right? Like she is there, never going anywhere. Like whatever I need, I don't even have to, I can like think it and it'll be on my doorstep the next day. Like she just knows instinctively like what I need. And having someone in your life like that you don't even necessarily have to like explain anything to is just,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't replace that. And then being able to leave my kids, obviously with someone who just loves them as much as you is, again, you can't get that. So it's just given me a level of just security and peace of mind that not everyone's lucky to have. So having her here has been instrumental, and especially with my separation, it was a very, very tough situation. But she was there, and I just don't know what I would have done if she wasn't there, like
Yeah.
your mom, and they're your like support system. If you're, obviously if you're fortunate enough to have like, just because you have a mom doesn't mean that they're doing everything that they should be doing, but she definitely did and has stepped up and just obviously been there my whole life, will continue to be.
Yeah.
So we take care of each other and that's it.
Yeah.
It's just obviously been instrumental. Like, I don't know what I would be doing.
Did you we also talk a lot about asking for help. Did she just show up anyway? Or did you have to learn how to ask for that kind of support?
Not really. It was just kind of
Yeah.
like a unwritten, like, this is how it's going to be. This is how it's happening. Like, I
Yeah.
never had to be like, so can you watch? Like, and I mean, and her moving in with me kind of was always a plan as well. It's like, I don't remember it being kind of like a thing I had to be like, will you move in with me so you can help me? Like, it was never like that. It was just kind of like, all right, well, we're moving in together, right? And then like, obviously moving to the new place, it's like, yeah, you're going to have your own space. It's just like not even a conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've never had to like, it's never been like an awkward or, like, can you help me type of thing. It's just always just been. And like,
Yeah.
and just when I go to work, like she knows my schedule. Like she's just like knows when she needs to come upstairs in the morning at like 6 in
Aw.
the morning. And, it's like,
Yeah.
we don't even really talk about it,
Beautiful.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
It's priceless, truly. Yeah. So Lucky girl.
It's incredible that, like, I'm sure that you've had moments of like stress or strain on your relationship, but it's incredible that you've been able to throughout your life maintain this like healthy relationship while also being able to like become an individual and live your own life, but together and
Yeah.
like be moms together, but also have separate identities. And I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
the way you talk about her, it sounds like she has instilled this incredible like confidence in you that like has empowered you to do all of these things. And I assume she
Right.
gets it back from you. And I think that that's so beautiful.
Yeah. No, thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel very like we've always been close. It's never, I mean, I feel like we've never really gone through like a rough, and she'll say the same thing. Like she's like, you were always a great kid, like a little kid. Like you've always been like, just like a good kid. And, teenage years weren't like a thing. I was busy. Like we were busy playing soccer. Like you couldn't even get into trouble. Like there was too much going on, to even like cause, our parents grief. But yeah, and then as adults, it's like we're best friends. I tell her everything and anything. And it's just, I'm very lucky in that we are so close, but like there's no like enmeshment or of any sort. Like it's like we're still very separate. Like even just like living
healthy.
here. Like she has right, yes, it's healthy.
Yeah.
She has her own space. Like she has her own like, and even just like emotionally, it's just like it's just good. There's boundaries that like, but just like that don't need to be discussed. I still very much have my own life, and
Yeah, it's beautiful.
As your kids grow up, obviously your relationship now is different than when they grow up, but like, would you like your relationship with them to mirror what you have with your mom?
oh
Like,
my
do you
gosh,
see that
yes.
happening, or like?
So the thing, like, this is probably something that'll also make me cry, but the thing that is kind of, I do pray, hope, wish for that with both my kids. I mean, the thing that's different is one, there's two of them, right? It's like they're two very close in age. With me, it was just me, it was just, so like I had a much, much older brother on my mom's side, and I had three sisters on my dad's side, but I was the only child between my parents. And so I still grew up very like only childish. So really was just like just me and my mom. So it is different, right? I have my son, and my daughter, and they're close in age, and they obviously have their own dynamic. And then, unfortunately, it's like with the father of my kids, like we don't have the same, dynamic that my parents did. And I always wonder about that. If like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to them? Just like subtle things like that they're going to feel throughout their life. They're not going to have the same thing that I had. So I do worry about that. I'm like, what does that look like for them? They seem happy, but I do pray that we're close. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will be.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
And they're
how
okay.
close are they to your, I assume, what do they think of your mom? Is she like parent number 3? Like what do they, how do they, yes. Yeah.
I feel like there was a time where they kind of would like listen to her because she was grandma and whatever, but they have like since moved back. They treat her like they treat me, or they don't listen. They do whatever they want. They, like push her, but like they don't care. And me, her, whatever.
Yeah.
She's very much a third parent. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like,
that's great.
Whatever. So it's, it's sweet. I mean, it's really nice to see, they're definitely keeping her young for sure.
Yeah. I just love, it's really cool to hear stories of people, the help showing up without it being asked for, and just sort of knowing how to show up and be useful is really, it's you're so lucky, unlucky circumstance potentially, but like so lucky that was there, and not luck, I'm sure, but a lot of your whole lifetime, including your parents, to like create that connection and understanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so interesting because I think especially it relates to mothers, and mothers trying to do a lot of things, including taking care of their kids, etc. But this need for help on stuff that we can't often articulate what it is. Like it's so much and so invisible that like it's hard to say what. There's something really beautiful and meaningful about, of course, if anyone could get it, it would be your mother. Also, there are crazy mothers in the world, so not every mother, but like Of course,
Yeah,
that's
what
the
I'm
one that might understand what is needed. Whether they
saying.
can
Right.
execute and show up in a way that's useful and productive is a different question.
That's
But
another thing. Yeah.
it's something so nice. I don't know. I feel there's something, feel warmth just thinking about it for you guys. And
Yeah.
I'm sure your kids, I hear what you're saying about, the relationship that you had with your parents and how they were
Mhm.
amicable,
Yeah.
beyond amicable, and then how that might not be so
Right.
true in this moment for now. But I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think every adult figure, I'm sure, I mean, the fact that they have their I don't know what do they call her? Grandma? um,
Grandma.
yeah, the duality, those like the two heads, whatever they
Yeah.
are, is so great. Good for you
Mm.
guys. This might also, we like thinking about, and I think you have such a useful perspective and you're kind of living the answer right now, but we think about the idea of having it all. And in this
Yeah.
life, who can have it all? Especially maybe can mothers have it all? Do you think about having it all? I think you do. And how do you define, I think you're very intentional about it, but what are you defining as it all for you?
Yeah, I truly like right now I feel like I do have it all. I mean, almost all. I don't have a romantic partner. I'd say that
Mhm.
might be like the last little bit,
Mhm.
but that's will come whenever it comes. It's nothing I'm like
Yeah.
too overly concerned about. Everything else, I'm like, I have it. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
And I can see where I'm going and how it'll continue to get better. And I do feel like I have it all. Like I
Mm.
have my job. I have my kids. My kids are healthy. They're happy. I'm taking
Mhm.
care of everything for them. Like I take care of everything for, I pay for, I pay for their school or on my health insurance. I pay for their
Mhm.
extracurricular activities. Like I pay for everything for them. I'm
Yeah.
taking care of my mom. She has everything. Like her just being able to be like, I remember one day when she first moved in to this house, which was about 5 years ago, she like put up I don't know if you're on Facebook, Sarah. I don't think you are. But anyway, my
Try not
mom
to
is like
be,
very
but
active
yeah.
on Facebook. Okay. So she's like always like
Yeah.
putting little
Oh, good.
little posts. And so she wrote, she like thanked me for her having the first month that she didn't have to pay rent, like in her life, like when she moved
Oh,
into my house here. So like
yeah.
I was like, oh, that's like but so sweet. And I'm just
Yeah.
like so happy I'm able to do that for her. Just making her life easier, even financially or
Yeah.
whatever. So she just like enjoy her retirement and have her little lunch dates and all the little things she does. Is
Yeah.
great. I'm able to do it all. And the last little piece for me is just freeing up just like a little bit more time so that I can really, like, when I have the kids, be able to take them to school, be able to pick them up. And on like weekends that I don't have them, sometimes I work. And they
Yeah.
have things on the weekends that they do. And so like I can't make it. So just little things like that where I'm like, all right, I just want to be able to give up these shifts so I can still go to their activities even when it's not my weekend. So just little tweaks. But like I know
Yeah.
that I'll be able to do it. And then I really do like feel like I have it all. Like I feel like I have it all now, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
great. I feel
You have
great.
such confidence that you can figure out, you can problem solve. Like it's like reassuring just to be around you of like, here are the things that aren't quite done, or here's what could happen. And like, but I'll figure that out. Like it's such a healthy, good for you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also you make it look easy, but I know it's a conscious effort and decision and like
Yeah.
choice to do that. So I
It
really
is.
admire
Yeah.
that. Like it's not an ignorant or blind, just like, yeah, this is all good,
No.
whatever. It's like you're really choosing and taking action on it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
everyone wants to do that, but it's so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is hard. There's no doubt about that. It is hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like kind of
Pressure.
like once you kind of get to that space or you make that decision or you just like
Mhm.
lean into it and you understand it and why you're doing it. It's like the why of doing things is so important. Right. It's like you
Yes.
can't just like do stuff just to do it. You can, but I don't know how far you'll get. But like if you
Yeah.
have like your reasoning for why you are doing it and you have like a very specific goal, I think it can
Yeah.
make those decisions easier and the process easier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right. Can we ask you 3 like fast end questions?
Sure.
They're like rapid fiery. Um,
Okay. I'm so bad
okay.
at this
So
already. Okay, what is it?
you can speak for as
She
long as you
goes,
want. Don't worry. Um,
okay.
but
Yes.
okay. If you could go back and tell your new mom self one thing, what would it be?
Probably just that all the like the tough times, right? The like you were just like in tears because you're just so tired or whatever. Oh, it's all temporary, right? It's all
Mm-hmm.
temporary. And realistically, just this whole time and just like your life is just temporary. But it's just like that really like tough stage when you're a new mom, and you're just like going through so many emotions and all of that. Just like knowing that like it is temporary, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell myself.
Yes. Breathe through it.
Yeah.
Oof. All right. If you could provide yourself or your family one thing along the journey of motherhood that would have made the process a little bit easier, or a theme of things, anything come to mind?
See, I'm bad at this. Can I do a yes, no?
Yeah. Or I guess maybe a yes, no. Could it have been easier? Yes or no? In reality, I don't know.
It's hard, it's hard to, I think I've been good. Like, I don't know that it could necessarily have been easier. I think
Right.
dynamics between people, things like that, stuff like that, yes, could have contributed to a much easier kind of environment for the children. Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you can't control other people. You have to make do with what you have. So.
Right. Yeah. Wise.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. Your kids may one day listen to this. Is there anything you'd like to say to them?
Again, gonna make me cry. But just that I love them. Theo and Avery, love you so much. I do everything for you. So that's it.
Yes. I won't ask you what you would say to your mom.
No.
I can't handle that. So please don't ask that.
But I will say, I love you. And thank you for everything that you do for Lindsay and her children and her whole being.
Thank you.
You're a beautiful
She'll
woman
be
too.
Thank
Lindsay,
you.
you're so badass. You're like,
thank you.
So inspired by your like energy and the way that you show up in the world. It like makes me want to do more, like be more and do more. Cause I'm like, we could do it. I could do that if you could do that. So,
of course you can.
Yeah. I love also that you're sort of role modeling the financial stuff. I don't know if any of this is interesting to you, but I do feel like there's a beautiful platform for you if you wanted to take it around everything you're doing. Like, I just think you have such an exciting life ahead. It's already exciting and amazing. I just think you're building so many exciting, cool things. You're so creative and entrepreneurial about it. And you're unbothered. And I think that's a superpower.
And your kids get to see that. Like, I can't imagine like how awesome, like I bet they just love having you as their mom, being able to see all these things that you do. Like they're probably so proud of you because it's like, I know they're like going to school and being like, yeah, my mom's really cool. Like she saves lives and makes money.
Like, I feel like they're still a little, they don't know what's going on. They're just like, can I have this? Yeah, they're right. They're like, they think, the money's just there. And I'm like,
I know.
One day
on trees.
I'm going to teach you.
Yes.
I'll teach them.
Love it.
Amazing. Thank you you're so impressive. And I love that you don't even, that doesn't mean any matter to you.
I know. You're like, okay,
you're whatever. It doesn't even matter. So thank you for doing this. Thanks for playing with me so many years ago, being such a beautiful winger.
It was such a special time.
It was. I'm excited for our reunion again at this beautiful home.
I know.
It's going to be awesome.
Springtime. Give me till the springtime. When I'm fully furnished. House is good.
Oh, we'd love to come do a solid housewarming for you guys. So
absolutely. I love that.
Okay, Lindsay Gittens
with us
from the soccer fields of the greater Boston area. What a beautiful gazelle. Anyone from the Bolts that's listening will understand this. She was a phenomenal soccer player. I also love, honestly, these were conversations and questions I wish I'd been able to ask her, not related to motherhood because she was not a mom then. Thankfully for all of us, but she's a beautiful human. And I feel like as kids, you don't get to connect on that level as much. But
there's this like air of like calm, confident, just like, okay, similar. This has been such a theme with everyone is like, I don't think too much. I just act and I believe that things will work out. And like, she does it too. And I'm like, okay, but like going to school to be an anesthesiologist. That feels like a wild.
I know.
Leap of faith.
I could have talked to her for many more hours. Like she mentioned if you know what your why is, all these other things are useful. So I do think there are some people that are like sort of, they don't think too deeply and then they like kind of pursue the thing. She strikes me as someone who's very intentional with what she's doing. It's not a one-off, like, but within that she's level-headed and efficient and once the decision is made, doesn't like overthink it too much. And just the air of confidence. It's cool to see. Maybe we are just who we are from the beginning. Like she really, that sense of like, I'm okay and I'm going to do it my way. And I'm not in a disrespectful way. It's almost she had more self-respect for herself than the rest of self-respect for herself. She had more self-respect than the rest of us did, which allowed her to kind of move through these very highly intense environments without it kind of taking so much from her.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm so glad we got to talk to her. It was great to reconnect, and she's so cool. And I need to like work on my financial strategy.
I know. Well, two things. I am like, can you teach me how to do that? High equity. I don't even know, what
a
high
HELOC.
yield.
Well, it's funny that we just started doing that again. This is like, and not to say that I am the model of a woman in the world who's afraid of money, but I do think that there isn't. I don't. Unless you go into that professionally as a woman, I find that like the messaging to women, it's sort of I know there are all sorts of businesses trying to make us better at this, but I'm really proud and impressed that she's using her assets as opposed
Why
to
wouldn't
just
you? Yes.
like accumulating them and like not sure how, and she's taking financial risks because there's financial upside and like and the risks are worth it. Like, so yeah, she's brilliant. She is brilliant. I think that's part of it. She's very smart.
So smart. Also, not just like she's book smart, but also like she has incredible emotional intelligence and like social awareness.
Yeah.
Like she's so smart in all components.
Yeah,
So cool.
totally.
And
totally.
I loved hearing about her relationship with her mom. It's
my
so
gosh, I
beautiful. And
know.
I'm just like, how lucky to have had that with her mom and then also have that with her kids. I love it. And the three of them, or four of them rather.
Yeah.
It's just so cool. I love it.
The ability, I said it at the time, but the ability to have people in your life that can just show up and do the thing is so beautiful and rare and invaluable. And I don't know, I hope I can figure out how to do that for people, because it is, I don't know. And she's creating a life where she can be more flexible to give that, to kind of show up for people in that way back.
I was going to say, I think you have to do it for others in order to receive it too. So mirroring that. Oh, she's so cool. Lindsay.
So cool, Lindsay. Thank you for joining. Okay, quick joy chat. I have one actually that is real time.
Okay.
Or borderline, like one day delayed, but it's true.
Okay.
I've been very stressed, as you know, because I don't know when this episode's going to air, but we've been working on a live event as part of our launch strategy. And live events, anyone that has ever worked with me knows that I hate live events because they stress the fuck out of me. And I'm not stressed. The stress doesn't end until it's over and the recap has been done. Like, it's whatever. So I haven't been handling it as well as I could, and I'm working on it. But in the midst of it, I was like, there's always something to do. I'm busy and busy. But I got to go to our oldest soccer practice, and I was exhausted and distracted and miserable. But then once I got on the field and I kicked a ball around, I was like, everything's fine. Like, this is in the way that when we talked to Mary Tang Hyatt about finding her third thing and the role of tennis, and like, I do think, at least for me, the physical things where you can't also be on your phone. Like, I feel like I've fallen into this trap of, I do a million things at once, which I need to not be doing that. But when you're playing a sport and you're physically occupied, like, you can't think about anything else. You can't physically be anywhere else. And like, what a relief that is. Like, it's what the world was like before we had fucking phones.
Turns out.
So that's my joy, honestly, is that it was,
I really love that,
75 minutes long, and the team was kind of a pain in the ass, but it was still fun and very joyful.
Love you.
Very joyful.
That made you smile.
It really did. It really did. Grounding. Any joy in your chaotic world, my friend?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of joy even through the exhaustion. I don't think that this has been one of my joys yet, but as the weather is getting nicer, I feel like we're like connecting with our new community more, and like making friends with our neighbors. And the past few nights it's been like warm out, and so we had like the windows open and being able to like hear kids laughing and like biking down the street and like saying hi to neighbors from the window. It like feels like I live in a movie. And my joy is just like the sitting in the happiness of like the choice for us to be here and the people that we get to live near. They're so nice, and it's like a really great place to be. So that's my joy.
I'm so glad that there are little sparks of that, because I know that was a big reason you moved.
Exactly.
And it doesn't happen easily and overnight, but it's great. It's funny how much like just 7 minutes like fills your cup.
Totally.
Of a
It was like
conversation.
a moment 2 days ago where baby was, it's still so funny to not say his name, but
I know.
he was in the window babbling out to people. And then like one of our neighbors was like, hey, and said hi, said his name. And like
Yeah.
they talked to each other like through the window. And I was just like, it made me so happy. Just like little moments like that are really precious. So I'm
Yeah.
appreciating that
Yeah.
for what it, yeah.
Yes. Go talk to your neighbors,
Yes.
neighbors that are listening. I appreciate you guys.
Make your
I
community.
should go knock on your doors more.
Hey. They're like, oh, fuck.
I know. No.
I love
This one
it.
again?
She's asking me to be on her podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Door-to-door effort.
I
Will
can't.
you go on my podcast?
Please.
Love
Love
cool.
it.
All right.
All
Well, good
right.
for us.
Yes.
Triumphing yet again.
Love
Thank you for
you.
everything. Great stuff.
Crushing it.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode and we can reach even more rock stars like you. The Mothers is a production of Backline Media, shining a light on those who carry the team.